So I think that we can start. Today we have got a guest from Atlassian, Kate Clavet, and our topic is about Rovo and innovations according to this topic, Atlassian intelligence. So everything which is, I guess, still something new. For people. So I hope that you will find this session really insightful and you know something, you learn something new. You can put your questions on the chat. Also, we have got Q&A section, so you can put your questions there. And after Kate presentations, it will be time for your questions. And I hope that you will have got many of them. And I think that we can start. So, Kate, the stage is yours.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks so much for doing this, and thanks everyone for coming. I'm going to start today with a brief discussion of what's coming in Jira Service Management. It's going to be Rovo specific because we do only have an hour, which is a significant amount of time, but we've got quite a lot coming. So from a roadmap perspective, I'll go through Rovo AI specific enhancements that are coming or currently available and rather new. And then I'll talk to you about how you can practically implement some of these Rovo agents to enhance your workflows. I think in a lot of discussions I've had with customers and even with colleagues is we're kind of struggling to figure out the best way to go about implementing these things. It's hard to have a successful pilot, so we'll go into detail about that. And then just a bit about me. As Kate mentioned, I'm Kate Clavet. I've been at Atlassian for almost 7 years. I joined through the Opsgenie acquisition, so I have a strong experience in incident management and operations, but I've been working on ITSM for quite a while now. And I'm very grateful to the community. I spend a lot of time with the folks in there. So if you're either a community leader or member, thank you so much for being there. We really appreciate it. With that, we'll get going. So Jira Service Management, again, from a Rovo specific lens, there's a lot more coming, but we only have so much time today. So let's get to it. Before I go too far in, I do have to share this specific legal slide. It's basically us just asking you, please don't make any product decisions based on forward-looking releases. We do make changes occasionally based on the market and based on our customers' needs. So that's our legal obligations out of the way. Let's get into it. So first here, we're going to talk about how we're now making third-party knowledge sources available to our agents. So if you're not using Confluence as a knowledge base, or you're using Confluence and SharePoint or Confluence and Google, you're able to expand that and surface that information within your agents and in your AI answers. Next, we're going to talk about how Rovo can draft knowledge base articles for you. I don't know about you all, but knowledge bases can get a bit unwieldy if they're not properly cared for and updated. There might be a significant number of requests that are coming in that could be solved with a knowledge base article, and Rovo is going to help you along with that. So it will look at the requests in your space, and it will make suggestions for where you have knowledge gaps, and then of course draft that article for you. But we're still keeping that human in the loop, making sure that the human can review those articles, make sure they include the right information, etc., and publish. Next, we're going to talk about Rovo for service teams specifically. So at Atlassian, when we say a service team, we don't mean just IT service management. We mean any team delivering a service. So that could be an HR team, that could be an operations team, that could be an IT support team. So here we are making it a lot easier within our agents to run automation rules. And we've also recently added the ability to send web requests, which makes the agent all the more powerful. And personally, I'm really excited for this because there's so many more options. Additionally, we have our Rovo service guide. Sorry, my automation's not working. Let's fix this. So here we have a service request helper. So what they're going to do is help you to triage requests. They also can help you to respond to requests. We do, of course, have canned responses, but if somebody wanted instead to interact with an agent and get help, that is also an option. And we are adding more functionality to these all the time. I'm sure many of you know we have Team Europe coming up, so there will be a lot more to talk about after Team Europe as well. A lot of changes we're making to Rovo there. Now we're going to talk about Rovo specifically from an operations lens. So there's a lot here that I'm really excited about because I feel like it can make the lives of responders a lot easier when things are most stressful. So right now, if you have enough data in your instance, suggestions panel will suggest a possible root cause, but we're also introducing a root cause analysis that can be run from within the record itself and provide you different answers. And then we will be introducing a root cause analysis agent. These are all coming soon that can interface with you. So if you want to dig into the suggested root cause that the suggestions panel has provided and interact back and forth, get a little bit more context, you'll be able to do that with the root cause analysis agent. The other thing I did want to mention, just because it's not Rovo related, but a lot of folks are still not aware of this functionality. We do have AI-powered alert grouping, and we're seeing some enhancements to that at Team Europe. So that's something to keep an eye on. So what this will do for you is take a look at the alerts coming in, group relevant ones, and then bring those to your attention. And instead, if you have 100 of one alert, instead of sending you that same alert 100 times, the count will just increase and it will show that whole group. So you have the visibility, but you don't have the alert fatigue that comes with it. Next, we also will have, like you see in the records in Jira Service Management in the suggestions panel, we're providing those same suggestions within alert groups. So when an alert comes in, it will suggest relevant SMEs, it will suggest other alert groups to look into, etc., just like you see on an incident record. Next, we're going to talk about Ops Guide. So this is a specific agent meant to help with operations. It has out of the box suggestions like ask for suggested resources, find similar incidents, or identify an SME. You can interact with it, ask it to find related incidents, and it can provide you with different pieces of knowledge that will help you get to the bottom of the incident faster. So again, we're looking at all the information within the teamwork graph that can make your life easier during an incident. So anything that's exposed to the teamwork graph, Ops Guide, Rovo, they can find that information and then surface that to the responder, saving them tons of time and making it a lot less manual for them to have to look through all these resources. And next, this is the root cause analysis agent that I mentioned earlier. So again, suggestions panel today will suggest a root cause to you based on information, but we are introducing a root cause button within the record and also a root cause analysis agent that you can go back and forth with and make sure that you really feel confident that this is the root cause before you move forward. So again, just to summarize, because I know I showed you a lot, you're able to leverage the IT operations root cause analysis agent to find the root cause related to dev changes, deployments, feature flag changes. And although that information is surfaced in the suggestions panel, it's just like having another teammate to bounce the details off of. And this is something that is coming soon. It's not yet available. Everyone's least favorite part of the incident is once it's over, it's time to write that PIR for documentation. This is available today. You can just leverage AI within Confluence to write it, or you can ask the ops guide to write it for you. And then you can review it and make sure that all the key details are captured from that incident record before you share it more widely. Additionally, this is a look at how you can create, excuse me, I'm so sorry, I have a cold, so my voice is not the best today, I apologize. So here you're able to create knowledge base articles based on what some of the gaps that you have available within your knowledge base, and you can quickly create those leveraging Rovo. Rovo Dev is currently in beta. This comes in 3 forms. So essentially, it's Rovo focused on use cases for developers. We have Rovo Dev CLI, which is basically a Rovo agent within your terminal. You can ask it questions. One particular instance, you can connect it to New Relic, for example. And if you're a dev on call, responding to an incident, and you're trying to get more context, you can ask it, hey, can you please list all open alerts in New Relic related to whatever service you're working on, say it's your website service, and it will list those for you. What's great about this is that the developer does not have to leave the command line in order to get that information. So it's less context switching. It's getting the answer faster. And during an incident, you're already stressed out. It's harder to be switching between tools. This will really help to make you be calm while being able to respond to the incident. Next, we have a code reviewer. So again, human in the loop, you write the code, but Rovo is going to take a look and make suggestions for you. And then we also have a pipelines troubleshooter. So again, these are all in beta, and these are things that we'll be certainly making more announcements about around Team Europe. And although these are not Rovo focused, they're big announcements for Jira Service Management, so I did just want to include them briefly. So we've recently announced the Assets Data Manager is generally available. This is something a lot of folks have been waiting on. It helps you to keep your data complete, current, and correct. You can cleanse your data, make sure that all of the information in your asset repository is up to date, clean. That's the most important, right? Just like with AI, when you're managing assets, garbage in is garbage out. And this helps you keep that clean and make sure that you have a nice golden record whenever possible within your asset repository. We have also announced the native schema importer for Jira Service Management. This is something that a lot of customers have been waiting on. So I did want to include that here. And coming soon, we'll be announcing the ability to have 10 million assets within your asset repository. We're also working toward faster imports and faster AQL. And we have a guarantee of 99.95% uptime. We're also working toward getting support for up to 50,000 agents on a single Jira Service Management site. And lastly, recently, we received FedRAMP Moderate designation. We have Type 2 of C5 coming soon. We are also working toward GovRAMP. If you're familiar with StateRAMP, it's now called GovRAMP. I think that changed in February. So that's just something to be aware of. And we currently have an open beta for expanded BRIE and Sandbox support. And we're working toward getting customer managed keys available for new sites. In case you missed it, we made custom domains, bring your own keys, SLA hierarchical goals, queue groups, and organizational filtering by domains available. And the other thing I did want to mention, because it's recent, is Atlassian Ascend. These are the key dates that you need to be aware of. Atlassian's here to help. We want to leverage all of our experience in helping folks migrate to make your experience easier, and use all of that wisdom that we've got to take the pain as much as we can out of the process for you. The goal, if you are curious and you want to sign up for a webinar, we have webinars available at atlassian.com/migration. And we also have a ton of information there and resources for everyone. So no matter your license that you have, we have resources available for folks on the lower plans and then also on enterprise plans as well. And that is the roadmap portion. I know it was brief, but that's because I wanted to make sure we could spend enough time on the practical information for how you can get started with Rovo and start enhancing some of your workflows. But first, I see there's a couple of questions.
Yes, we have got now 2 questions from Anne. Is it possible to constrain Rovo to the certain Jira projects and Confluence spaces that pertain to a given product?
Good question. I'm not sure. I don't believe so, but let me check that, and then I can follow up with you. I don't believe that's possible yet. Okay. And then does Rovo support data management in the European Union? That is something I also have to look into. I'm not sure how Rovo would relate to the data residency in your chosen instance. So I have to check that and get back on that one as well.
Okay, thanks. I don't see for now more questions on chat and also in the Q&A section.
Okay, sounds good. So in that case, we can...
Yeah, I can also add, because you mentioned about Assets Data Manager, that tomorrow we have got a webinar about it organized with Sylvia Davis. So also I will put link on the chat. I think that this session will be really practical. So I think that it can be also interesting for you.
Awesome. Okay, so now to the practical aspect of how do you enjoy all of that functionality I just showed you that's coming and that's already here. Again, this was sort of born out of a lot of different conversations that I've had with customers and even with colleagues, trying to figure out internally and externally, how do we get the most out of Rovo? And to start, we're just going to go with what is Rovo. So I'm assuming that if you're here, you probably know, but just to have a little bit of fun, I asked Rovo to explain what it is to me, and it did pretty well. So I'd say the net of this is that Rovo makes certain that you're able to get through your workflows faster. It's going to surface key information to you faster. It's going to help you kind of save time of combing through different knowledge sources, like your Confluence knowledge base, your SharePoint, your Google Drive, and even information available, just generally in the internet. You're not going to have to be combing through all of this. You're going to get a tailored answer. It's going to look at all of the information exposed in the teamwork graph, which is Atlassian's intelligent data layer. And that includes your teams, your work, your goals, your knowledge. So what makes it powerful is that it's not just all the information, it's information tailored to you. And we have it available in different experiences. So within search, within chat, within agents. So just to summarize, just in case, again, assuming if you're here, you probably have an inkling of what Rovo is, but always good to level set. Today, as I go through, I'm going to be citing some statistics from our State of AI and Service Management report that we released in 2024. We're currently working on the 2025 version that will be coming out in the coming months. We'll also have a webinar around that in November. So keep a lookout for what we've found in 2025. But today we'll be discussing findings from the 2024 report. So first, why do AI initiatives fail? And for those of you who are in the chat, I'd love to hear, if you have a moment, just put in maybe something that you've tried at your organization or just for yourself. Like maybe you decided to use Chat GPT for meal planning, and just let me know if it's like something that was not successful, and then why do you think it wasn't successful? And I'd love to share a couple of those out loud. So if you put them in the chat, I'll read them. This will be really fun, I think, just to hear your experiences. But the reason that they fail is because we're wanting them to fail. And what I mean by that is AI is new. There's a lot of speculation about AI. There are concerns about security. There is fear from people who are worried it's going to take their jobs instead of make their jobs easier. And so we're setting out from the beginning, instead of wanting to prove a positive outcome, we're wanting to prove that it's going to fail. So that's why we're not successful. According to findings from our 2024 report, challenges that teams are up against are data privacy and security concerns. I see Keith just put in the chat, forward progress is frozen by vague security concerns, 100%. Thanks for sharing, Keith. Skills and talent shortage. AI is new to a lot of us, even to the people who are building it. So that is another challenge. Budget constraints. In some cases, it's free. In some cases, it's really expensive, or it's free for a short time until the licensing costs kick in, because it is expensive to run AI. Data quality challenges, that garbage in versus garbage out, like we talked about earlier. If you're using AI to find answers in your knowledge base, but your knowledge base is full of outdated articles, people are going to be finding the wrong answers. So it's not really going to be helping. It can be difficult or complex to integrate. Uncertainty, high upfront costs. I'm not going to read through all of these, but this is a sampling of the challenges teams are encountering. And I do encourage you to read the report and look out for the future one. But if we have all of this, like we're just expecting it to fail. We are not going in and excited, ready to hit the ground running with an AI use case. We're like, it's not going to work. It's not there yet. I don't want to try it. And that sets us up for failure. 72% of those who responded to the survey are still concerned about the security of AI tooling. And I think that's very representative of the climate right now. We're excited to use it. We know we have to use it. We know we've got to implement it, but we are nervous about the security. How much control do we have over our data? And that's stopping a lot of people from innovating. So the other reason, I'm going to use like a real life example here. This is just a figurative example, not based on my life. We're going to talk through other cultural reasons why your AI initiatives may fail. So you go to the doctor, you get some blood work done, and they've told you you're rather unhealthy. You need to make some lifestyle changes. Your cholesterol is really high, your sugar is high. We've got some trouble here that we've got to get ahead of. And so you get these results and you are panicked. You are freaked out. You must do something. So you decide that instead of waking up at 8 a.m., you're going to start waking up at 5 a.m. And instead of just trying to walk a little bit, you're going to start training for a half marathon. You're going to drink 100 ounces of water every day. And you're going to eat 200 grams of protein and 7 servings of veggies, even though currently maybe you get around 75 grams of protein and you probably only eat a vegetable a couple of times a week. And you're going to start meditating because you know that you've got to keep your stress low if you're going to do all of these things. So what do you think happens? Do you think, you enact this for a couple months and everything's great and you go back to the doctor and you're healthy again? No. It's too overwhelming. there's too many changes, too many big changes happening, and you can't focus like so many competing priorities. Like, okay, do you eat your vegetables, or do you drink your water, or do you go for a walk, or do you meditate, or do you make your speed faster for your half marathon so it doesn't take you 20 hours to finish? You can't just try to do everything all at once. That's not going to work. And that's what a lot of folks encounter with AI. They try to do everything all at once. Let's put AI in everything, in all of our workflows, everywhere right now. And we'll start seeing ROI, and it will work. And that's why folks are not seeing ROI, because they are not solving for a focused use case. They're not measuring, and that's why they fail. So in addition to us seeing them to fail from the beginning, or being skeptical, they fail because you're trying too much at once. You are not aligning your expectations with reality. So for example, every once in a while, something comes up that makes us laugh really hard because we're terrified AI is going to take certain jobs, right, in the media. And recently, I think it was Google didn't even know how old it was because of the way AI works. It doesn't work like a human brain. So instead of replacing humans, think about how are we making humans' lives easier. For another example, AI probably isn't going to write you a beautiful white paper, but it can write a significant draft for you to work from, and then introduce your own brilliance. The other issue is poor measurement. What are you going to measure? And I just saw Kythera, I refused to touch any of these AI tools until I can get some kind of guarantee that 0% of the data it was trained on was not trained on unauthorized use of intellectual property, documentation for authorization of any intellectual property, and guaranteed analysis of the carbon costs. Very great points. Very great points to raise. Appreciate you sharing that in the chat. A lot of folks are also want a guaranteed ROI before they start, because there is such an upfront cost, whether we're talking about carbon costs, monetary costs. We want to be sure that we're going to get something out of it. And then again, they fail because we expect them to fail. We don't have a champion. You need a champion in your group. You need somebody who believes and supports the idea, and who's willing to have all these difficult conversations with folks. So let's talk about some areas where we have seen reports of people being able to get some of that ROI. So most organizations are using it to train and upskill their workers. Enhanced customer experience. So they'll take care of tier 1 support, or they will use AI to surface more information to give that customer better support. AI-driven data insights and reporting, and AI-powered process automation. These are some of the areas where companies are investing and actually seeing some ROI. But even in 2024, with all of the skepticism, if you recall, 72% were concerned about security. 89% of those same people were planning to further invest in AI technologies in the next 12 months. So, okay, now that we know why we fail, now that we know where we can see some ROI, and we have kind of an idea, like, let's map out what that actually looks like in action. So first, I would suggest making a list of possible workflows. And these are just general examples, a little bit for everyone. Typically, even if you're a Jira admin, you're probably going to have a bit more narrower of a focus. But I've listed a bunch out here: deflecting 10% of requests using AI agents, or reducing incident response time from 5 minutes to 2 minutes, updating knowledge base articles, deploy virtual machines faster, or improve onboarding CSAT for new employees by 25%. So you have the workflow you're enhancing, the goal, and then you want to look at how are you measuring that goal. Is it regular reporting? What reports? Is it deflection rates, knowledge-based ratings? Is it a survey? If you have this in place before you go about improving that workflow, it's going to be a lot easier for you. So let's say we want to use we want to enhance our knowledge management. So it's cumbersome and time consuming to update knowledge base articles on a regular basis, especially if you're in charge of many of them. So let's look at an example here. So here I have created a Rovo agent with the goal of updating the knowledge in the knowledge base. It's confined to the space that I own individually. And every week on Friday at 7 a.m., it's going to do this. I've set this through Confluence automation. It's going to call on my Rovo agent that I developed specifically to update the knowledge articles. And then it's going to tell it to read all of the pages in my space and insert updates. So it will insert the updates below the article as it exists. And then it's going to send me an email every week and let me know that that's ready. So that's one example. The other advice I would give is, instead of making, in this case, I did make a knowledge assistant out of the box. We are coming out with more and more out of the box agents all the time. Instead of making your own agent from scratch, if you don't have to, make sure that one doesn't already exist that can do these things for you, because that saves you some time in the training. If the out-of-the-box agent is designed for this thing, there's less troubleshooting required on your part, less training, less prompting. So that will also help you hit the ground running a bit faster. When it comes to onboarding, I wanted to just showcase a couple of different use cases. So I don't want to be too focused on one workflow. So here we have a HR assistant for support and guidance. So that relates to the onboarding workflow that we mentioned. So this is Donna, our friendly HR assistant. I'm going to ask, how can you help me with HR questions? Because I'm nervous. I don't want to ask Donna just anything. I want to know what she can help me with. So here she's been programmed to let me know she questions about company policies, benefits, time off, and workplace guidelines, guide through processes like requesting leave, provide advice on well-being, work-life balance, and professional development. She helps find documentation, which, if any of you have onboarded to a recent job, that can be impossible. And listen to feedback for how to improve the work environment. So this is great. So, okay, let's ask, how do I request time off? Okay. And so there is all the information, how I can request time off, and links to the apps that I need to log into in order to do that. Great. And further, let's look at a slightly different use case. So this is an agent created called the Change Helper agent. When this is a change request for an IT change, and we do have the risk summary up here. We have changes, incidents, recent failures. All this information is available in the record, but it's time consuming to read through it and takes a good few minutes. So instead, I can just go here. So through leveraging the Change Helper agent and automation, once the record moves to in progress, or work started rather, the Change Helper agent will post to the record and list out all of the key information that, as a change reprover or reviewer, I would need. And it's just in this nice, neat paragraph, so I don't have to go hunting for it. So these are just a couple of different examples of workflows that we have implemented to make our life easier. Again, keeping that human in the loop. Humans are involved throughout all of this, but making it so we're saving those humans time. We're taking frustration out of their workday. Now, that's just one example, and we're going to walk through it a little bit further. So we're going back to our knowledge management example. We want to update knowledge base articles, and we want to have, we're going to be looking at deflection rates and knowledge base article ratings. Sorry, just a moment while it loads. Okay, so once you've got your workflow identified and your supporting goal identified and how you're measuring it identified, you want to identify a knowledge base space to pilot. You don't want to take this to all of your spaces at once. You want to look at one space. So in my case, I have it pointed at a test space because I don't want to go make live changes to the production space before I see what this looks like over the course of a month. So you can clone a space, or if you have a test space, you can leverage. That's another option. Then you want to identify teams that are involved and a champion. So who would be benefiting from this workflow? Who would be consuming these articles? You're going to need people on both sides just to see where there are pain points, where there are opportunities for improvement. Then once you've identified how to measure success, you're going to want to measure it and continue to measure it. Then how can AI help? Well, in this case, AI can suggest the updates to the articles that need to be made. It can write those updates and it can post them to the Confluence page at the bottom for me, Kate, to review on a weekly basis. And I can add those in. You can set it up so that it's automatic, or you can have those articles automatically published as new articles. But for me, I'm not comfortable with that because I want to review the knowledge, especially because I'm managing this knowledge base. So if something isn't perfect, people are going to be coming to me and complaining. So this is a way where I can save myself a lot of time, but still make sure that the content being deployed is up to my requirements. And then you're going to want to select a fixed time frame for implementation and experimentation. And fixed time frame sounds very strict. I don't mean like, okay, 30 days from now, we're going to put this to GA no matter what. No, but let's experiment for a month, 2 months, see how this works on an ongoing basis. And then let's evaluate where we're at. And then from there, we will choose when do we want to GA this? And again, you don't GA it to every space in your Confluence. You pick one space to GA it. So you're continuing the pilot. It's like a testing pilot to an implementation pilot. We don't want to be back to that everything everywhere all at once situation where we just fail because there's too much going on. It's too hard to measure, too many competing priorities. And so that's our goal here. And I really I've done this with quite a few use cases and it seems really basic, but for some reason, writing it out like this, even though it just takes a minute, and again, it seems so simple that it wouldn't really be impactful, it truly is. And it definitely makes a difference in how you're able to implement these different workflows, measure them, and keep repeating it until you see some really significant metrics and improvement. So once you've done all that, your next steps are to identify what has been successful. Have you moved any metrics? And what if you haven't? What do you do? So if you haven't seen any changes, any significant changes, you have to dig into why. Are you focusing on the right thing? Maybe your knowledge base articles don't change that often. Maybe they don't change on a weekly basis. Maybe they change on a quarterly basis. So you actually have to measure that throughout a quarter instead of just a month. How are the champions doing? Are they happy with where the project's at? Like your champions are going to be supportive, but they're also probably going to be the most constructive because they want it to do well, and they want to see this really move the needle. What about your customers? Who are your customers in this? Are they happy? Are they able to do what they need to do faster? Are they seeing the improvements? And then you're going to want to report out, share what you've learned, what you've improved on, what metrics you're seeing move. Look at those metrics you set up for your success at the beginning. And again, if those metrics aren't moving, did you choose the right metrics? Because it's possible you didn't. Like maybe there's something else that you need to focus on. Maybe instead of request deflection, it's resolving requests faster. Maybe that's something. So sometimes we do focus on the wrong things, and it's just part of that, kind of continuous iteration, continuous improvement. So you've got to be curious and get into why it's not going well. And then once you've felt that the pilot's successful, you've reported out on it, expand the pilot, identify other areas for improvement, and just repeat it. And it's kind of like repeat it over and over and over again. Now, particularly if you're in an organization with a climate that is very careful about AI, you're going to want to go slow. Because if you try to push it too fast, you're going to get a lot more resistance, because they need to be comfortable and they need to see the benefits before they're ready to go to that next step. And that concludes how to successfully implement Rovo for different workflows within your org. And again, I do want to mention we have a lot more coming in post team, so keep an eye out for that as well. Perhaps you can even make a Rovo agent to summarize all of the updates for you. And I think we will.
Yeah, we have got some questions. The question from Alistair, can you please elaborate on pricing model for Rovo for 2026?
So all of the pricing information is available on the website. I can send the pricing page. I don't think we have finalized that publicly yet. So I would say keep an eye out for Team 2025, where we'll provide all of those details. But good question.
Yeah, thanks. Another question from Dan. Is there a dashboard for tracking Rovo usage? AI credits used, AI objects indexed?
Yes, that can be tracked from within the settings. Let me pull up see if I can get mine to pull up. So that is done from the agent screen within your settings. So as long as you have access to that as an admin, you should be able to see that. Oops. Sorry, I'm having trouble getting mine to load, but we can go to the next question while I get that up.
Okay. Another question from Alexandru. Will the guard detect dashboard also show Rovo or AI-related alerts?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't spend as much time in Guard as I do in Jira Service Management, but that's definitely something I can look into and come back to you with.
Okay, thanks. And another question, Alexandra. It would be nice to be able to restrict access to created custom agent. For example, an agent created for Team X should not be used by anyone outside that team.
Yeah, that's great feedback, and I'll definitely share that. I can certainly see, why that would be a useful use case.
Because what I know now, we can only limit who can create such custom agents. Yeah, but it's available for the whole organization still.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's a very good point. And I'll definitely share that feedback with our product team.
Okay, I think that we don't have more questions. If you have got anything else, please put it on the chat. And we don't have, okay, we have got a new question from Erin. Can Rovo analyze all the feature requests? We have thousands of them and group them by affinity or commonality.
Group them. So let me just pull up. So I know that there are automations for the Rovo agent in Jira. I'm guessing your feature requests in Jira, Erin?
Yeah, Erin confirmed, yeah, that is in Jira.
Yeah, so let me just pull this up. 1 second. So we do have here. Some of these may not. So if you see any automation rules that you don't have access to, I just want to be clear. I might have access to some early access rules. So if you go into your instance and you don't see these, that's probably why. But let me see. There was a rule I saw earlier where it can break out work into different chunks. So I'm wondering if that, it's not exactly, what you're asking, but I think it's close and it should be able to at least optimize, or there might be a way to adjust the rule to do specifically what you're asking. Of course, now I can't find it. But yeah, I would take a look at the automation rules in Rovo and see if there is something there that would apply. I'll also take a look, and if it's okay, get back to you with a more concrete answer. But I did see earlier a rule somewhere where you could break out a queue into more digestible work. So I'm wondering if that's something that would help. Oh, and Rachel has a suggestion. That's great. I love it. I love the interaction here. Thanks,
Yeah,
Rachel.
it's a suggestion for Rovo Agent Jira Theme Analyzer.
Awesome. But yes, I will. But either way, all of the questions I didn't have the answers to today, I'll look at and then get those answers to Kate, so she can share them out with you all. If that's the best way, Kate.
Yes, definitely. We can come back with emails and with follow-ups. Also, question from me: do we have any limitations according to searching issues and analyzing them using Rovo agents?
Can you say more about that? Limitations in what way?
So, for example, this is the good example, this Jira Theme Analyzer, this Rovo agent, that I have got some list of issues in Jira. Also, Erin wrote that thousands of them, and Rovo will analyze all of them to make some groups, to make some themes. And do we have any limitations that, for example, it can only analyze 1,000 of issues or something like this?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. But I can look into that as well. So most of my focus, again, so sorry for not having answers to a lot of the Rovo specific questions, is on Jira Service Management and how we're using Rovo within that. I haven't come across a limit yet, but that doesn't mean that there isn't one. So I will look into that as well and get back to you.
Okay, thanks. Also, we have got question from Samantha. Can we take out of the box automation and make changes if needed and save this new automation and use?
So if you're talking about an automation template, which I think you are, or are you talking about the out-of-the-box automation for Rovo? So if you are using if you're using a template, an automation template, you can use that template and then add different steps and tweak it to your needs. The idea is just to make it easier for you to create that rule faster. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, so it's like a template library that we can take and have a better start?
Yes, good question though, because some templates are very rigid and they don't let you make changes. So thank you for that one.
Yeah, we have got also a question from Vince. Where will the answers to the follow-up questions be posted? I'm also interested in hearing about any potential limits to how many records Rovo can review.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can send the email to all participants with answers and some additional links for these questions. I'm not sure if you can, Kate, create it for tomorrow, but we can also send separate email with only with answers. Also, a question from Dan. We use Rovo to look at issues in a release and summarize the issues. Is there plans to add support for more than 20 work items?
Yes, there are. I don't have dates on that, but I can look into if there are any. I'm assuming any big announcements around these sorts of things will come out around Team Europe. So that will be the week of October 5th. So likely we'll have a lot more to talk about at that point. But again, I know we're planning to. I don't know the exact dates that I can share on that yet. Thank you. Good question.
Yeah, I also encourage you to register for Team 25 in Barcelona. If you can join personally, you can always join remotely. Some sessions, especially keynote, will be recording and shared. So I think that it can be also good to join to see what is announced, some new things, what I know also from Jira Service Management area. So I think that it can be interesting time and a lot of news. Okay, do we have any more questions as we have got last 5 minutes? I don't see more, but if someone has got, please put it on the chat. Okay, I don't see more questions, so I think that we can finish our today's session. As I said, you will receive email with all information. Christian also wrote that he is interested in knowing more about the Rovo service agent. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you, Kate, that you found time and you shared all this news and this knowledge with our participants. I hope that this session was insightful for you. And I would like to also invite you for tomorrow's sessions about Assets Data Manager. Also, we have got another session next week about playbooks. All of them are in community-led classes chapter. So also my colleagues will lead some classes not only about Jira Service Management, but also Jira and Confluence. So I think that you can find something interesting for you. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you, Kate. And I hope that we will see soon on the next events. And Christy, will this recording be available anywhere? Yes, I pinned the information that it will be on YouTube channel, and also I will send you link in the email after our event. Okay, so I think that we have got everything. So thank you very much, Kate, and have a good day.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you.